I'm going to be breaking down the percentage chance each champion has of earning that double champ status. So kind of how whenever I look at this, I kind of look at it in two ways. One, how many defenses that they should have to get before they should be allowed to move up, or if they just moved up today. Okay, so starting off with Joshua Van. So I think he probably needs a good 5 defenses. This is his first time holding a belt. And what are the odds that he does go get those 5 defenses, okay? So next guy up is Tatsuro Taira. He's fighting on May 11th, I believe, so we're a little bit less than a month out. I'm picking Tatsuro Taira in this fight. You know, I'm going to give him a 40% chance of being able to beat Taira. I think if he's able to keep it on the feet, he's going to be able to dominate. But you know, I know he's only a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and I just have worries there. Maybe a little ground and pound could be a problem. So it's like once we get to the ground with Taira, I don't expect it to go very well for Van. You saw how it went for Moreno, and it's not like Moreno's still killing it, but still, I think that's pretty tough. I think that's a pretty tough matchup for him. And then next up, I got Alexandre Pantoja. You know what I mean? I think he absolutely 100% deserves a crack back at the belt. And if that fight were to be made, I would take Pantoja today. You know what I mean? I will take Pantoja against whoever wins the Van versus Taira fight. The thing is just Pantoja, again, he's going to be able to take him to the ground, and I believe that he's going to sub him with the rear naked choke. So it's really hard for me. I know on the feet, I think it would be a little bit of a problem. I know, but I really like Joshua Van, but I think he's a little bit overrated. He has a better percent chance of beating Kopp than that, if I were to be honest with you. I honestly think Kopp is a 50-50 fight, because I think he's the only, well, I mean, if Royval was able to put out Kopp, I'll leave it at 30, to be honest. It's like, if Royval was able to put out Kopp that quickly, and also Charles Johnson was able to KO Van, so it's not like Van has a crazy chin. Van is just such a small champion, guys. He's the smallest guy in the division. I wish there was 120, 115 pounds division for him to fight in, because it's like he's too small. So imagine how small he is at 125. Just imagine at 135. And then Horiguchi, I actually think he would be able to beat Horiguchi. I just think he's a little bit he's just a better version who's younger. You know what I mean? I think they have a very similar skill set. So I would take Van. I just think he's younger. I just think he's a little bit quicker, and I wouldn't see that matchup kind of going any other way. For Loner Kavanaugh, I think he would be able to beat Loner Kavanaugh. I know how good he looked against Brandon Moreno, but honestly, in my opinion, other than the second round, it was a really close fight, and I had Moreno winning, 2 or 3 of those rounds, to be honest, guys. But I did have round 2 as a 10-8. And then the Bantamweight champ, just kind of a blank champ. I don't know who it would be. It could be O'Malley at this time. It could be someone we haven't even heard of yet. It could be Ethan Ewing. I would put it at about a 40% chance. So overall, all the chances of this happening, I would leave at about 0.7% chance of all of this going down. And then, but if he went up today and gave a shot, it's just he's too small, and I think he'd be too small for Jan. I think Jan would be able to get his hands on him and just be honestly able to wrestle him. And the feet exchanges would be super fun, but I think you would see what Jan kind of did against O'Malley. But coming on to the next champion, we got Petr Yan. So he would need, I think, 3 defenses. Okay, he has held the belt before, so that's good for his legacy. So it's like, I don't think he needs to get 5, kind of like Van. He's not a new champion in the slightest. He's held this belt before, and I think his first title defense needs to be Merab. I'm pretty confident that he beats Merab. I'd give it about a 65% chance that he goes out there and beats Merab. Just because of how dominant he looked in December, and I don't see anything changing. Maybe his back surgery, we're going to see a slower version of Petr Yan coming back. I really hope that doesn't happen. Honestly, I didn't factor that into my results, that his back surgery makes him look different, but I think he's got Merab, okay? I think he's got Merab, and I think Merab's going to lose, and I think you see Merab kind of going on a sad 3-4 fight losing streak after this. O'Malley, I think, is a really 50-50 fight. I don't know who wins, just because O'Malley's style isn't very good for Petr. I don't know how Petr's going to do with that rangy striker. I mean, he lost the round to Marcus McGee, and O'Malley's a better version of that. I think he's going to have to enable his wrestling and to really try to get a lead here, but it's tough. It's tough. And then for the featherweight champ, he's also not a huge bantamweight, and I couldn't see him moving up to 135 and kind of dominating, so I'd give him about a 35% chance. And then, but if he fought Volk today, I think I would pick Volk, but it's pretty close to a 50-50 fight. I don't think Volk's as good as he used to be, you know what I mean? And I think it would be two really good game plans going at it. I do think that Volk would win. I would almost bump this up to a 60% chance Volk wins. But, yeah, I don't see Volk kind of losing to... I think it's possible. I think Piotr could give him problems on the feet. I think this would be the first time that Volk really fought against a speed disadvantage. And I don't really know how he'd deal with that. It's not like he could put Piotr out, but... Overall, the odds that he wins these next 4 fights, around a 6.8% chance of happening, are going on to Alexander Volkanovski. He is the only current champion that we have with a defense, which is wild to say. He already beat Lopez too, which is really good. I'm really happy that he's able to get that shot. And then against Movsar Evloev, I'd give him a 65% chance. I'm really confident that he goes out there and beats Movsar. I think to be able to beat Volk, what his real problem is you have to be able to put out his lights. And Movsar can't do that. Volk is not going to get held down for 5 rounds. For 3 rounds. At least 3 rounds. That's not happening, guys. Volk is getting up. Volk is stuffing takedowns. Volk's going to make it really hard for you. You're going to see an amazing Volk performance whenever he fights Movsar in August or whenever. Volk is going to be coming back, and Volk is going to defend his belt for a second time. The problem is once you get the Gene Silva. So it's just... I think Silva would be able to beat Volk. Pretty much just because it's a speed thing, guys. Again, Silva has the power to knock his lights out. He has to deal with Silva in a cage for 25 minutes. I think that's really tough. I think he would have to enable his grappling. I think that gives him his best chance. He wasn't able to get it going against Lopez really until the late 5th round. But Silva, he would have to be able to get takedowns. And we did see a weakness in his grappling against Silva whenever Lopez was fighting him. But yeah, and then going on to the lightweight champ, I really hope that if he does get these 2 defenses, he does get the 155-pound chance, to be honest, because I don't think it would be Topuria at the time. So I'd like to see him fight for that vacant belt after Topuria leaves. And I'd give him around a 15% chance of victory. You know, maybe we could go a little higher just depending on the matchup, but I think at this point, Volk would be 38, 39 years old, and I think we'd see a really heavily washed Volk at this point. But I would give this a 4.4% chance of happening. I hope the best for Volk. And then I think if he were to fight Topuria today straight up, I would give him about a 20% chance of victory. Topuria would just be able to put his lights out relatively early. And it's not much more than that. I think Volk could possibly craft up a crafty game plan. There's a chance that he wins. I think I would give Volk a better chance than Justin Gaethje, clearly. But yeah, tough fight. All right, going on to who we were just speaking about, Ilya the Matador Topuria. He's got 3 defenses right now, okay? I think he needs 3. He has 0. He only got 1 at 145, which is really annoying to me. But he needs I think 3 defenses, okay? So he's going to fight Gaethje next. I think he has a very, very good shot at beating Gaethje. Like I've said earlier, I think this is a closer fight than people think. I think it goes into the 2nd or 3rd round. I don't think it's a first round, first minute knockout. I think Gaethje is going to play it smart, but you can only play it so smart, you know what I mean, and stay away from the fire for too long. So I'm going to take Topuria. I think he has a 90% chance. Again, a 10% chance that Justin enables his wrestling and, Justin flukes something. Like, you saw that against Yuri versus Olberg. I mean, what were the odds that Olberg was going to win that fight? Maybe 3% after he tears his ACL or tears his Achilles or whatever. And he was able to happen. So crazier things have happened in MMA, guys, than Gaethje beating Topuria. It would be one of the craziest upsets of all time, but hey, it's still possible. Arman Tsarukyan, I would pick Ilya, but again, Arman's his toughest matchup. We'll see. That grappling of Arman is just different. I think he's a top 4 grappler in the UFC, maybe top 3. I'm talking about Arman, not Ilya, and I don't know how Ilya would be able to handle that. I don't think he'd be able to get subbed, though. That's the thing. I'm probably taking Ilya in this matchup. I am taking Ilya in this matchup, but Arman does have a real chance of beating Ilya. Max Holloway, I'd have it 70%. I would like him to fight one more fight, if that's either BSD or Max Holloway. I think that he needs one more fight before moving up to 170. And let's just say it's Holloway, because I think Holloway would be able to... would I take Holloway or BSD? That's a really good question of who gets that shot next. I'm probably going to take BSD but because he's held up with Arman, would that change things? No, but I think Oliveira would be able to probably beat BSD, and then let's say Holloway beats Pimblett. So let's keep it with Holloway. Holloway, 70% chance of victory. He'd probably be able to knock him out, but Holloway's, again, a harder matchup than what we have in a BSD or what we have. I think Houfi would also be a really fun matchup at 155 for Topuria. Just something else that he might not have the obvious striking advantage. I think Holloway's the second best striker in the sport. So, yeah, I'd like to see one more defense at 155 before he goes up to 170. Although I think more than likely he would leave after Arman, but it is what it is. Of all these fights, he wins. And then the welterweight champ, I'm assuming this isn't Islam at the time. I think just right now there's too much to be had between Islam and Ilya. Like, these two have to actually clear out their divisions before they keep moving up and talking about a super fight. I'm not really a fan of the fight right now, just kind of the way things are. I was a fan of the fight whenever Ilya moved up. I think that's the fight that needed to happen, but now we are where we are. Hey, you guys got divisions that you need to care about. I don't want to see these divisions being held up. I want to see the number one contender get these shots. But it is what it is. I'm going to give Ilya a 34% chance of victory of he being able to become a triple champ and going up to welterweights. And then if he were to fight Islam today, I'd give him around a 40% chance of victory. I think Islam's grappling would just be too much, especially at the 175-pound size. I think it would just be a little bit too much for him. Now talking about Islam Makhachev, I think he has about I think, again, he's one of those guys who needs about 3 defenses before moving up. I think he's about an 80% chance of beating Ian Machado Gary. I think Gary's honestly he's a really good matchup for Ian Gary and his skill set. I think Gary's just too long. The thing Gary's best at is distance management, and I don't know how much that's gonna be able to help him against a wrestler. It's not like Islam's gonna be able to win a strike with him. Like, probably Ian Gary's best possible matchup is a Carlos Prates, who he's not going to let get inside, which is crazy how well he was able to deter those shots. But Islam, I give him an 80% chance of beating Ian Gary. I think Marco Morales is a little bit tougher of a fighter because he's just a little bit bigger, and you don't know how Islam is going to be able to handle that. He's never fought a guy that big, and I think that would be kind of tough for him to deal with, and I don't know how he would be able to. Next is Shavkat. I think Shavkat will eventually come back, but Shavkat, coming off of 2 knee surgeries, I think would be really hard for him to be able to, just be Shavkat again. And he was able to barely beat Ian Gary. He was caught in that choke almost. But yeah, I think he'd be able to beat Shavkat, but I think Shavkat's the hardest matchup out of the 3 of them. However, we don't know how he comes back after those 2 straight knee surgeries. And then the chances that he goes up and is able to beat the 135-pound champ, or 185-pound champ, is about 30%. I think it's going to still be Khamzat at the time. Again, unless Khamzat moves up. If it's DDP, or if it's a guy like Strickland or Imavov or someone we don't know yet, or maybe even a Joe Pyfer, I give him about a 30% chance of victory, just kind of off of a basis. Overall, I'd say this is about a 10.9% chance of happening. I think the odds is that he honestly just retires after the Gary or Morales fight. No, I think he's got 3 fights left. I think the Topuria fight probably does happen sometime around this. I think, but they meet at a catch weight, if I had to guess. And then if he went up to fight Khamzat today, I'd give him about a 30% chance of victory. His striking's better than Khamzat, but I think the grappling would be too much, and I don't think they'd ever really want to fight, to be honest with you. Going on to Khamzat. Khamzat, 5 defenses. I think he needs it. Okay, I don't want to see Khamzat going up to 205. There's honestly less fun matchups for him there. I don't know why we want to see Khamzat move up. Okay, the 205 division just sucks right now, but it's not like there's a bunch of great matchups at 185 either. You know what I mean? It's like, do we want to see... I don't want to see Khamzat fight Azmat Mirzakhanov. I'm sorry, don't. You know what I mean? I'd rather see him fight more entertaining fighters at 185, and I think he's got a lot of work to do. I want him to fight Sean... I wish he fought Imavov, just because I thought Imavov deserved it more, but, Sean's a tougher matchup for him. I think he's got an 85% chance of victory against Sean. I'm pretty confident he's able to beat him. I don't think Sean's going to be able to get up from the takedowns. I think that's kind of a stupid argument, in my opinion. He's just going to stick to him like a wet blanket. It's either going to be a first-round sub or, Khamzat by decision. But I think he's going to go out there and try to prove a point. The next fight is Brendan Allen. I know that might sound weird, but I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a DDP and Imavov fight off, and I'm pretty confident that DDP is going to be able to go out there and beat Imavov. I think DDP is still the second best fighter in this division, but I don't think that we ever see DDP get another chance at the belt, because who wants to see that fight? So it's going to kind of be left with, are we going to do Kyle Braulio or are we going to do Brendan Allen? And I think they give another American a shot, so I think they give Brendan Allen the next shot. And he'd have a 95% chance of victory. Brendan Allen is not going to be better at what Hamzat does best. I think that's ridiculous. Imavov, I think he'd fight next, 90% chance of victory. And then it would kind of be his harder fights, right? So now we see Islam at about a 70% chance of likelihood of him winning, right? I think Islam would be his toughest matchup out of every realistic guy that he could fight. But I do think that the worst matchup for him at 185 is Sean Strickland, and you're going to see him just run through that. And then Joe Pyfer, 90%. Pyfer could be 80, I'm going to be honest. It's like, if Piper's grappling is all that, which it could be, again, it's just not at a Hamzat level. Hamzat's the best grappler we've ever seen in the UFC, so to just say someone's a good wrestler is not good enough. You have to be an Arman Sarukian level guy or an Islam Makhachev level guy to be really seriously talking about him being able to beat. And I give Hamzat's ability, if he were to do all these things, at 37%. What I think's actually going to happen is that Sean Strickland, after he fights him, he's going to want to move up to 205 because he doesn't have to worry about a weight cut, and he would never lose at 205. There's not a guy out there that would even make it a competitive fight. Yuri couldn't do it. Ankalaev maybe could. I think that's your most fun fight out of everybody. But again, I mean, Ankalaev could actually cause problems, but that's probably his toughest matchup, to be honest with you. Light heavyweight champ, he'd have an 80% chance of victory, 37% chance of happening, and if he fought Olberg today, Olberg barbecue chicken, 95% chance of victory. All right, coming into Carlos Olberg, I think his first title defense is going to be Ankh. I'm assuming that this leg injury is pretty massive, so he's not going to be able to beat he's not going to be able to straight up fight Ankalaev first, because if he's healthy, I think he should fight Costa first, right? I believe that. If he's healthy, Costa should get the next shot at the belt. But I assume that'll be an interim belt for Costa versus Ankh sometime in October, and then they fight in like March or April of next year, and I think he loses to Ankh. But if he doesn't lose to Ankh, I think Roundtree gets the next shot at the belt. I think he'd lose to Roundtree. I think the kickboxing would be too much. I don't think Olberg's honestly a very good fighter, and I think coming off a knee surgery at 35, you're going to see a very, very washed version of this guy. And then I think it's going to be Zhang Minyang. I know the Johnny Walker fight was weird. It was a calf kick TKO. I still think he's one of the best fighters in this division, and I think he's a 50-50 shot. With him, I would take Carlos Olberg just because of the reach and just because he's bigger, but Zhang, I think, would be peaking at the time of this career, so I think it's a pretty 50-50 fight. I would also take Paulo Costa against him. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but I think Paulo Costa would just get in his face too much, and then I think he would also be able to beat Bogdan Guskov. I think he needs those 5 defenses. He's not like a legacy guy at all, and I think he will lose sometime in his first. I think he's going to lose his first fight, first defense, and then he would never be able to beat the heavyweight champ. I'd give him a 10% chance of beating Tom Aspinall. Chance of this is happening, a 0.2% chance. Like, if he was able to do all this, he'd be one of the goats of the sport. I don't see Olberg being able to pull this off at 36, 37 years old, coming off a knee surgery. Coming into the final fighter of our video, we do have Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall, I think, since he can't do double champ, we're just saying his next 5 defenses. Could he get 5 straight defenses? And the issue with Aspinall is, an eye injury thing. You know what I mean? It's, can he get past those injuries? He had that pesky knee injury. And his first fight is going to be against Alex Pereira. 60% chance likely. I think he beats Alex Pereira. I do. I'm pretty confident. And honestly, if he can beat Alex Pereira, that would mean that this guy would have to fight Alex Pereira, and he's not beating him. So I think Alex Pereira probably goes back down to 205. And honestly, I just like to see Alex Pereira stay at, geez, he's just the GOAT, to be honest. For him to collect all those belts, maybe you do him go back down to 205, he gets the belt back, and then tries to go back up to heavyweight. I don't know. I wish he did fight against Olberg, though. I wish Pereira did stay back for one more fight, but it is what it is. He would beat Cyril Gahn. A closer fight than I thought. I probably would have put this at 90% if you asked me in October, but, Cyril Gahn did show he is a really high-quality fighter on the feet, so 70% chance. Rizvan Guniev, 80% chance. He's got fast hands, but that's not enough to be able to beat Tom Aspinall. Waldo Cortez Acosta, he's got the size. He's a big man moving, but again, Aspinall is just too fast, too quick. He's one of those top guys in the sport. He's got go to the heavyweight vision level potential, so he's not going to lose to a guy like Waldo Cortez Acosta. But after Alex Pereira, his toughest matchup is going to be Gable Stevenson whenever he's ready to go. The wrestling will cause issues, but obviously, honestly, in my opinion, injuries are the only thing that holds him back, and we have no idea what the future of Tom Aspinall's career looks like. Really, it'll be decided in this Alex Pereira fight, because if he wins that, he'll have a long list of defenses, and he's not going to lose his belt anytime soon. So the chance of all of this happening, I'm going to honestly give a 15% chance. Yeah, I mean, this is just math. It's not like I'm actually saying these are. It's just the math of all my predictions so far. And the chances of all this happening, kind of going through guy by guy, least likely, Carlos Ulberg, 0.3% chance he's able to get five defenses and then the heavyweight strap post-knee surgery. That is not happening. Van, 0.7% that he's able to get those 5 defenses. 6th place is Volk. He has to get another 2 defenses and then go up to 155, which is tough for him at this age. Jan, 6.8. I think it's plausible. Do I think it will happen? I mean, I'm going to pick him in all these matchups, but the featherweight champ matchup, I think he would lose that. But yeah, I mean, I might pick O'Malley against him. That's 50-50 fight, but we'll see. I think Jan's got a decent shot. Islam, 10% chance. Again, I think the only fight he would lose would be that triple champ fight for him. Tom Aspinall, 15% chance. I don't know which fight he loses, but I'm not. Obviously, it's not likely that he wins 5 straight fights, but I don't know which fight he loses, but it's possible that he drops either the Pereira or Gable fight or something like that. Next up, Topuria. Topuria's I think he's got a very strong likelihood of being able to do this. I probably would pick this to be able to happen. Honestly, I think he leaves after Arman. He doesn't fight this hallway fight, which, like I said, I would like to see, but I'm pretty confident that unless it's Islam, I don't see Topuria losing anytime soon. And then Hamzat, 36.6% chance. Hamzat's just that guy. I'm pretty confident he wins all of his next fights. It's going to have to be weird for him to lose. But anyways, guys, that's the video. That's me breaking down each single champ's potential of becoming that double champ guy. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys later. Bye.